I'm leaving this in, so it's all good.
Yeah,
We started.
we
What's going
started.
on, good people? What's happening?
What's
What's
up?
going
What's that?
on? What's happening? Uh, this is Kieron.
Be back to Kieron. Hey, this is Rachel. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Culture Garden. You would have to just accept that both Kieron and myself got some shit going on today. So,
Just one of them
while
episodes,
it is
y'all.
Love Month, just be prepared for the funnies. But thank you guys for joining us. We love you. We appreciate you. What's going on, Kieron?
Not too much. Not too much. Happy to be here. Glad to be here once again. Thanks for the disclaimer. You know, we're going to
For
make it
sure.
through. It's all good. See? Phone went off. It already, listen, one of them episodes. We're going to make it through, though. Because I love this movie that we're talking about today. But before we get started, thank you as always for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting. Can't do this without you. Episode 110, which is insane. Shout out to school. Shout out to We Got Y'all.
Shout out to We Got Y'all.
Shout out to We Got Y'all. Having a lot of fun over there. Just wrapped up Harlem. Harlem, if you haven't watched it on Prime, only 6 episodes in the final season. They did an incredible job. Rachel and myself have been having a lot of fun conversation. It's been cool having people reach out and say, I can't wait to hear what y'all got to say about this week's episode.
Yes.
These 2 episodes and things like that. Not to mention we have White Lotus coming up and Raising Kanan.
My Lord.
So we got y'all staying busy. I know. We got y'all staying busy. But here we are, Black History Month, but also 3rd annual Romance Month here at the Culture Card Podcast.
Crazy.
And I know, 3rd annual. And I don't even know how it started. I want to remember, I got to go back to the first year we did it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just like a win. We didn't really, it wasn't like it was January and we talked about February, let's do Romance Month. I think we just did one, and the plan was to do one, and they just kept rolling, and then it just became a thing. So I don't know. But here we are. One of my favorite times of the year when it comes to recording. Before we get started, there will be spoilers and explicit content, and we are discussing About Last Night, the 2014 version, or as a lot of people would say, the black version. And we'll actually talk about that in this episode because got some thoughts, or I read some things, and I want to hear your thoughts, I guess I should say.
Okay.
Once again, just like last week, another film in LA. Still praying for LA.
For sure.
You got a lot going on. I'm repping the Crenshaw today, all that kind of good stuff. So another film in LA where LA played a character, but not the average character. Like they was actually downtown, which they don't film a lot of when you talk about LA movies, unless you talk about like Heat and things like that. Synopsis. This movie follows 2 couples as they journey from the bar to the bedroom and are eventually put to the test in the real world. This is actually Rachel. As much as I've discussed on this podcast how much I love this film, this was actually Rachel's week to choose. So, Rachel, what made you want to go with this film?
I did it for you.
Oh, man. See? That's what I'm talking about.
I picked it for you because I know how much you love this movie. But also, I too, do I love this movie? Yes, but maybe not as much as you. And we've talked about it kind of ad nauseum at this point about being in the mood for movies. And when we get into it, I have a question, and you may or may not be able to answer it, but I hope that you can. In regards to this, but also aside from you, I love John Legend. So anything with a John Legend backed soundtrack, I'm here for. Ohio's very own John Legend.
Ohio's very own John Legend. I just think about Will Packer, who was a producer on this, and between this and Think Like a Man, just that one song just playing over and over. It's not as bad as Think Like a Man when you had that "Baby Tonight's the Night," that Best I Ever Had shit. That was that shit played in every scene in that film. Like that's what it felt like. It went like it works, but man, they overdid it. And then a million in this. So absolutely right. I appreciate you, Rachel. I appreciate you for picking this for me because if you've been with us for a long time, you'll know that a lot of the films that I like to do, I kind of keep them in the tuck. And there are some films where it's just like, just do it. Like I remember episode 50, Life. Life would have been one of those I'd have never picked. Like just all those certain heartfelt movies to me. So I appreciate you picking this, and I was excited when you did, and it makes it easy because I don't even fight it. I'm like, all right, bet we're gonna do About Last Night. So I was actually looking forward to this.
Yeah, me
I was actually
too.
looking forward to doing the research. And for me, and we'll talk about this as the episode goes on, but it was really about, it's not the best movie in the world. And we'll talk about when we get to the ratings, but it's a feel good movie.
For
Like, it
sure.
just makes me feel, it's just a good, heartfelt, feel good movie.
Yeah.
And I'm just not thinking about this in real time. I'm not going to say I dislike a couple people in this film, like on a regular basis, but it made me really appreciate people that I'm not the biggest fan of as far as watching them on screen.
Like Joy Bryant.
Like Joy Bryant. Like, I'm not really a Joy Bryant fan, and there's nothing about her. Like, you ask me why, I can't tell you. I really can't. But it's just something about her that just doesn't curl all the way over. But I really like her in this film. I really do. And I like the older Joy Bryant. Like when she had a cameo on Ballers on the last season.
Yes.
As my man that played Muhammad Ali in One Night in Miami. It's his mom. And I thought she did really well. Like that businesswoman kind of look. I don't know. For some people play better older than they do younger.
Yeah.
And I think she's one of those actors for me. But yeah, I just always enjoy watching this film. I know exactly how it's gonna go. And it's funny. So we were supposed to record this. This is why Rachel's in the hotel right now. We were supposed to record this yesterday, and my Wi-Fi went out.
Yeah.
My Wi-Fi went out, and like they had to come and do the whole modem thing, all of that. Like it was jacked. And thankfully, I know y'all make fun of me. People make fun of me all the time. Thankfully, I still had this on DVD. So I was able to take my notes and prep on DVD because I couldn't watch it on streaming. I was tying that up somewhere too. The whole point about my Wi-Fi going down. I can't remember what I was just about to say. It happens like that.
Yeah.
I was talking about Joy Bryant. You said something before that.
I don't know. I just got caught up on technical difficulties. So
yeah, man. Dang, I'm sorry because I was trying to get the thought. It'll probably come back to me mid-combo.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I just really enjoyed this film. And that's what I was gonna say. I spent time because all I had was my DVD, just watching films just to pass the time and do things, kind of building some furniture here at the crib. So I'm watching Rounders, which came out in 98. I'm watching Ocean's 11, 2001. I'm watching About Last Night. Just those are all kind of in that same category of films that I can just put on and do something else and still know exactly what's going on. I don't have to look at the screen. I can hear it and see it. And I just enjoy, I've been in that mood. So I just enjoy this being a part of that.
This is so random, but thinking of just things that I've recently watched, on a plane, I don't know, time is slipping away from me. So within the last month,
yeah,
I want to do it, but obviously not during Romance Month because I think we're set on highlighting Black love. But I want to do Mississippi Marsala.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I just watched it on the plane not that long ago, and I'm like, damn, this was such a good movie. Shout out to Denzel. And as we think about everything that's going on in society and race relations and whatnot, but it's just a really good movie. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I haven't seen that in a while. That's a very interesting plane movie. But I haven't seen that in a while. You know what? After everything that happened with the Super Bowl and people talking about the performance, I want to do Bamboozled. I feel like Bamboozled is like very timely right now, the way some of y'all been acting, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day.
Yeah.
I guess I'll talk about it when we talk about first experiences. But as far as the stats go, this film premiered at the Pan-African Film Festival on February 11th, 2014, released 3 days later on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2014. Directed by Steve Pink. You probably mostly know him from Hot Tub Time Machine, the original and the sequel. Rachel, have you seen Hot Tub Time Machine? It's my type of comedy right there.
Not my type of thing.
Okay, I know, but still, it's my type of comedy. Shout out to Brian. As Brian always says, John Cusack does not have a bad movie. John Cusack is in the original. And yeah, Hot Tub Time Machine, low-key underrated. I actually might watch that here soon.
Right.
Craig Robinson is in that. Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And speaking of, we talked about Ballers. I forget the actor's name, but The Rock's sidekick, his partner. Mm-hmm. He's in that movie too, the bald guy.
Oh, okay, the bald one.
I don't know why I can't think of his name. It was written by Leslie Headland. She wrote the screenplay for this film, which was based off the screenplay written by Tim Kazurinsky and Denise DeClue, because they wrote the original 1986 movie, which was based off of the play Sexual Perversity in Chicago. That came out in 1974. So obviously these origins on top of origins, produced by Will Packer, as I mentioned, had a budget of an estimated $12.5 million and made $50.4 million worldwide.
Really?
25, absolutely. 25.6 million the opening weekend. So they doubled their budget the opening weekend. It opened at number 2 in the box office behind the Lego movie. And rounding got the top 5 that week were RoboCop, The Monuments Men, and Endless Love. It was in theaters for 11 weeks, so almost 3 months. Oh, wow. And it is not currently streaming, but you can rent it for $3.99, or you still have the DVD like me, you can check it out that way. Only one award nomination, and that's Best Actor for the BET Awards, Kevin Hart. What you week at? You can't believe it made $50 million?
Not just everything in my orbit going to shit right now. Go ahead.
It's like that, man. We gonna roll through it. He had 3 films this year. Hey, Rachel is funny as shit. He had 3 films this year. Ride Along, which came out the previous month. It came out in January. It did not really do well from a laugh when I say that, from a critical view. Of course it didn't. It's Ride Along. But I'm sure it made money at the box office because Kevin Hart was hot. Hot as fish grease.
Yeah.
Hot as fish grease, as school would like to say all the time. He had this, Ride Along, and Real Husbands of Hollywood, which was early seasons. I wasn't mad at that.
Now, the first few seasons of Real Husbands, it was very good. It was good. Then it got stupid, but it was very good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. Well, Kevin Hart, listen. I know we talked about Joy Bryant, but Kevin Hart was one of the other people. I don't dislike Kevin Hart. And I think Kevin Hart's funny. I've seen Kevin Hart live, I think, when it was the Let Me Explain. So I think that's when he hit probably his peak. Maybe not his peak, but he was like, that was his last. He was no longer like a quiet entity, right? He was A-lister, no questions asked. And that's when he did The Garden. And I remember seeing that when he was on tour. I saw him in Cincinnati. And I was weak. And as somebody who, I chuckle, but I don't really get weak too often. Rachel can make me weak, man, because she's funny as hell. But I was sitting at that show weak. And but Kevin Hart, after a certain time, I think because he was all over the place, it's just kind of like, all right, bro. Like, kind of, we get it. You around, you funny, you ha ha ha. And there were certain performances where I was just like, all right, maybe Kevin Hart overload. But this was one where I kind of liked him. I thought he was really funny in this movie. The more you watch it, there are some scenes where it's like, all right, you're doing a little too much. But that's also Kevin Hart. So it is what it is. But Real Husband Hollywood, that era when he was first coming up, right until maybe 2015, 16, I think that's when he started going the other way. But I can always appreciate him for what he did in this film. Speaking of cast, we mentioned Kevin Hart. He plays Bernie. Michael Ealy as Danny. Regina Hall as Joan. Joy Bryant as Debbie. Christopher McDonald as Casey McNeil. Shout out to Shooter motherfucking McGavin. I think Christopher McDonald's, man. That's always Christopher McDonald's been one of those like favorite actors.
Really?
Mine. Like just like I enjoy seeing him and stuff, and I just rock with him. He's just somebody. Ever since I was a kid, like I just always liked his work, and like he one of those people. If I found out he was on some Mel Gibson shit, I'd be hurt. Like I'd be salty. Like damn, bro, you always seem so cool to me. But I've always liked him. I've always liked Christopher McDonald, Shooter McGavin, a legend. And we have an appearance from Paula Patton as Allison and Terrell Owens as Terrell Owens, which probably isn't even worth mentioning, but whatever. Rachel.
Yes.
Is this film in the Movie Poster Hall of Fame?
No.
No, it's not. Classic or not?
It's not a classic. Nah. But I do like this movie. And the question that I was going to ask at the top of the episode is, did you watch the white version of the original?
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't. I kept saying I was going to, and time was slipping away from me. Did they keep almost the exact same script from the white version, from the original?
a lot of the same premises. Obviously, it's been updated for 2014 and for Black experiences. But yeah, for the most part, it's a lot different. Even the names, so the character names are even the same.
Right.
Like
That I
Bernie, yeah, all of that. So all of that's the same. They instead of being this bar and kind of being led into it, the two. So Jim Belushi's character and then
mm-hmm.
Rob Lowe's character. So Rob Lowe plays the uh, Michael Ealy character, and
Danny.
Jim Belushi plays Bernie. Yeah, and Danny and Jim
Mm-hmm.
Belushi played Bernie. They were at like a softball game. So they worked for this marketing firm, if I'm not mistaken. They were at the softball game, and that's where they ended up meeting. And it was still like the one night stand thing. So they met. They were kind of flirting at the softball game. Danny and Debbie in the original went home, had sex. She kind of stormed out, and then they went through the whole back and forth thing. Now, the biggest difference, I would say spoiler alert, but that movie came out in 1986 before we were even born. So if you haven't seen it, it's whatever. You probably won't watch it. But the biggest thing is there was no kind of reconciliation.
Okay.
Like toward the end of this movie, we get the light at the end of the tunnel for them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe there's something coming around. Maybe we can take Pacino for a walk. Nah, it's more like the breakup.
Got it. Okay.
And Joan, why can't I think of her name right now? Emily Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
Joan, Regina Hall's version of Joan is much better. Like you don't like Joan in the original.
Got it.
Like you dislike her. Like she's just, why are you here? Like you
okay.
Go be by yourself somewhere. Like you just dislike her. And I think the Joan in this one, from what I read, because I don't know anything about the play, but the Joan in this one is more like the play.
Debbie.
No, Joan.
Joy Bryant.
So the Joan character, Regina Hall's character. So that's what I mean. In the original.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about the Regina Hall character. In the original film, she's not that enjoyable. Like you don't like her as a character, where I think you like her in this one.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying with the characters?
Isn't Regina Hall Debbie?
No.
She's Joe.
Joe Bryan and Debbie. Debbie and Danny. They're the Michael Ealy, Joy Bryan, D&D.
Oh, you're right. Joan throwing that turkey away would piss me off. That's the thing that bothers me.
Yeah. There you go. See, sometimes you just got to go to the notes.
My bad, yeah, it's a lot of shit.
Nah, it's all. That's why we get a disclaimer at the beginning. I love these episodes. I love the real life. Everything's just going. Murphy, it's like the meme. Episodes. It's the meme and the fire. Like, this is fine.
Yeah,
this is fine. Did you have anything else to ask about the original?
No. I'm lying. See how I just lied that quick. I thought that the script in this was very close to the original that I didn't see. It just felt very white, but Black people.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty much the montages and just them trying to work things out.
Mm-hmm.
Like the back and forth between them, like that part stuff. But it wasn't like we went to the bar, they went to the bar.
Yeah.
We at this place. It wasn't like that. And you remember the original was in Chicago.
Got it.
Remember the play was a sexual perversity in Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah. So the original film is in Chicago, and they made this one in LA. They wanted to shoot this one in LA. Yeah. There's a lot of talk about. Let's have this conversation.
Okay.
Let's have this conversation right now, because there was a lot of talk about obviously this being a remake and having a Black cast. Because here's an interesting point about this. There's no Black director, and the writer wasn't Black. But you have an all-Black cast, which is very interesting in a sense. I'm sure Will Packer had a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Had a lot to do with it. And they were just trying to make a modern version. So the conversation was, are we making a Black film? And that's something that was going around when they went on the press junket, right?
Yeah.
Asking them, is this a Black film? And Kevin Hart made a quote about, Black people just deal with these type of things. They're similar things, but just from a Black point of view. We might argue a different way, talk a different way, but it's still relatable. And it made me wonder, Rachel, has a Black movie ever been remade by white people? Like, can you think of anything? And would you watch a Black movie remade by white people?
No.
So if Emma Stone,
My
Anne
girl.
Hathaway,
My girl.
let's see.
Bradley Cooper.
No. Take him out of it. Take him out. I'm thinking about something completely different. I'm trying to. So if Anne Hathaway, Natalie Portman, Jennifer Lawrence, and Emma Stone, right? Let's say they just said we want to make Set It Off. We want to
No.
remake Set It Off. Would you
No.
watch that? Why not?
I'm not interested.
You would watch them do Set It Off?
No.
I'll be at the movie theater
Because
so
I,
quick.
I can watch Queen Pins for that. Part I think the difference between a quote unquote love story and I don't want to call Set It Off a dramedy.
Low key.
But
It's a drama for real.
it's a drama, but
Yeah. For us, yeah.
I think so much of Set It Off is entrenched in things that are just Black.
Yeah.
And the plight of Black people. Not saying
that's
poor and underemployed, this and that. That's not what I'm saying. But so much of Set It Off is just a Black ass movie.
That's exactly why I chose Set It Off, because it's not Black like, I don't want to use that. This Black History Month, I don't want to say that. But it's Black to the point where if you Black, you get it a lot more. You view the film differently if you Black. Like just being Black changes the experience of the film for you. And that's why I wanted to choose it, because I want to see a Black ass film and see what they would do with it. I just think that'd be humorous. Let me know out there if y'all will watch like Set It Off with Emma Stone in it. Like Emma Stone being Cleo and still be as rugged as shit. And that's the thing. You brought up a good point though, Rachel, when you mentioned Queen Pins. The real difference, and this isn't rocket science to anyone, we all know what it's like or what it's been like, Black Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
And fighting for our stories. We're already accustomed to watching and conforming to their movies or films that they were, let me not say their movies, there are movies too, but they're films that didn't have us in mind when they were being made. We weren't the target audience, whatever. Yeah. Like, this is our people. If y'all like it and cool. But we've always had to grow up doing that. And now, of course, in 2025, it's more common to see more representation all across the board, right? Amelia Perez, it might be a hot spot this year, a hot topic for the moment. But Amelia Perez, you see, is nominated for I think they lead the nominations for at the Academy Awards.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's a whole other different story for a whole other time. But my point is representation. That would have never happened even 20 years ago.
For sure.
Right, a film like that. You'd have to be like a Selena or something for it to really be popping if you're being different. Now it's more common, but 80s, 90s, early 2000s, we was watching y'all stuff. So now it's just funny to think that, all right, what would happen if the day would ever come where somebody just takes an original Black script, says, you know what, we about to put, like you said, Bradley Cooper and whatever in this. What's up?
What's the Anne Hathaway movie?
Which one?
On Prime, where she's with
the one, the younger dude.
Yeah.
I watched that a couple times too.
Yeah.
What is it? Because that was made for
Nobody Like You or something.
But here's the thing about that, Rachel. It kind of goes to the point when you mentioned about Set It Off and just about being Black. That movie, it's not a Black movie. Yes, it's a Black movie, like it was created by a Black person, but you don't have to be Black to kind of get the inner scopings. However, maybe I'm only saying that because I've only seen the version of Anne Hathaway. And obviously there is no other version, but if you don't know, that film was supposed to be about a Black woman, like, and Anne Hathaway got involved in it. And it's not a bad movie at all. The idea,
it's a good movie.
I rock with it. If we were in Black History Month, I might have chosen it. Maybe another time. Maybe we'll get to it in April and May. But I like it, and I love Anne Hathaway. That's my girl. Shout out to Anne. Either way, interesting conversation. I was just curious to see if you would ever be interested in, like I said, watching some fried shit, like Boys in the Hood with Channing Tatum or something. Like, I don't know. That shit would just be silly.
I can watch The Goonies.
In relation to what? You compare that to Boys in the Hood? talking about? Wait, hold on, what?
I can watch some random other shit. No.
Yeah, man.
Again, Boys in the Hood is entrenched in black plight.
That's what makes it funny.
Do I want to
Like,
see
what did
a?
y'all go? How would y'all take? Like, how would you flip this story and make it white? That's what I would want to see.
You can't.
Somebody hit us up, man. Give us your ideas, man.
Don't.
Shout out to the. He said, "Don't." Shout out to the Goonies, man. Hey, you guys. Shout out to the Goonies, man. Classic.
Hey, you
All
got.
right.
You want to see a dead body? Come on.
All right. You know what? Don't get me started because you know I go down that path.
I know
I'll
you
cross
do.
worlds. I'll cross the mismatched
I know
world and
you
all that.
will.
I don't know if I answered, but no, it's not a classic. It's not a classic. Very enjoyable film, but it's not a classic. I think we did all that talking just to answer that question. It's one of them episodes, y'all. Just one of them episodes. Here we are. Origin of the film mentioned it's the remake of the 1986 film. Rob Lowe, Demi Moore, Jim Belushi, Emily Perkins. Kevin Hart was the first person cast in the film. Like I said, he was just the A-lister in Hollywood at this time. So he was the first person cast, and then it was followed by Regina Hall and Michael Ealy, and then Joy Bryant was the last person who was cast as part of the Central Four. So the director, Steve Pink, he discussed this film not being high concept, right? And in movie terms, for all y'all, high concept just means Star Wars, Marvel, just that whole like what happens, Jurassic Park. What happens if we bring dinosaurs back to life? Like just those things where you can kind of just go off the edge. Your movie kind of just writes itself over time because you're looking at all these scenarios. It's more the low concept where you should be focusing on character development, but it doesn't have a ton of it's very simple in what it's trying to do. So the movie it moves along so fast because they can't spend time. They have to cover all these different emotional ranges and only have 90 minutes, an hour, 40 minutes to do it. So it's kind of, what are you laughing at? What's so funny? I want to know. Because I love to look at you because I know you.
I'm listening attentively.
Okay.
I'm trying. See, you breaking the fourth wall because I was trying to not be irritated by everything that's happening over here.
Oh, my bad. I'm thinking that's the movie because I but it's crazy because I know you so well.
I know. I'm trying to appear engaged and not irritated.
That's the last time. That's the last time I'm gonna ask you. But yeah, this big emotional story into this short film. They're trying to go through all of that. I do want to, and really, like I said, there's not too much more than that. They just remade it, cast it, and here we are. I do want to play this or that. We haven't played this or that in a while.
It's been a long time. I need a good chuckle.
All right, let's do this and that. We're gonna do rom-com version. I'm not doing the classics, right? So I'm not gonna ask you if you'd rather take this or Love and Basketball, right? Or The Best Man. Like I know those are winning. So I'm gonna try to pick something around this. Maybe a couple that I know you're gonna answer, but I'm just curious to see where you stand. And we're About Last Night listing your rom-com setting, all right?
Okay.
About Last Night or something new?
Oh shit. About Last Night.
About Last Night and something we did last year for Romance Month. What Men Want.
Fuck. About Last Night.
About Last Night. Once again, I think another Romance Month. Jump in the Broom.
Jump in the Broom.
We know how I feel about that film. Now, I mentioned this next film is. I'd have to sit down. It's one of my top 3 rom-coms of all time. I have to sit down and really think about where it stands. It's probably between this, Coming to America, and Boomerang. But About Last Night and Hitch.
Hitch, very easily.
Okay. We never had, I don't think you and I have ever had a conversation about Hitch. So I've never known exactly where it stands in your actual listings. But that's, shout out, matter of fact, we're recording this on the 11th.
Yeah.
Hitch was released 20 years ago today.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken. To this day. Shout out to Hitch, man. One of my
We could do
favorite,
it.
not just one of my favorite rom-coms, but favorite films ever. I talk about those feel-good films that I can just put on anytime. Hitch is definitely one. And Hitch has one of my favorite deleted scenes of all time.
Oh,
We'll talk about it when we do the movie.
okay.
About Last Night or Our Family Wedding. Another Culture Garden Romance Month.
Our Family Wedding. I love Our Family Wedding.
Our Family Wedding, man. I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. About Last Night or Just Right?
Just Right.
I know the answer to that. About Last Night or Two Can Play That Game? Or Two Can Play This Game?
Two Can Play That Game.
That's a close one. I think it has to be.
Think about that one, but it's two Can Play That Game. Maybe because of the nostalgia of it all. And back in my day, funny story, me and my homegirl, we used to play the game.
Why is that not surprising?
And we just used to be doing anything and saying anything to men, but amen for deliverance.
Hey, I'm just getting weak because you posted something in your story maybe last week or the week before that had me weak. Talking about something like me at 14 in someone's basement, X amount of miles from home.
Listen, God is a keeper.
He is. Amen to that. Amen to that. I was about to say something about Two Can Play That Game. Two Can Play That Game is one of those. It's a perfect. I haven't watched this in 5, 6, 7 years movie. Like, it's one of those films where if you haven't watched it in a long time, I think I made the comparison to Next Friday. So Next Friday is just one of those. If you haven't watched it, you forget how good it is or how funny it is.
Yeah.
I remember watching Two Can Play That Game maybe a year ago. Because we were gonna do it for the pod, but we didn't.
Yeah.
And just thinking like, damn, this shit is actually another movie actually pivoting on from that I remember watching the first time and saying I'll never watch this again. I probably haven't watched it since 2004. But I'm gonna ask you About Last Night or Breaking All the Rules.
Oh. I might say Breaking All the Rules.
I need to rewatch that. I literally haven't watched that in 20 years. I need to rewatch Breaking All the Rules.
I need to rewatch it, but we love Jamie Foxx. We love Gab Union.
Morris Chestnut.
All of the early 2000s, late 90s Black Hollywood elite.
Yeah. I need to rewatch that. Like I said, I remember watching that in high school and I just didn't like it. I wasn't impressed. I don't know what it was. I can't tell you. I can't really remember anything about that film either.
You ain't never bit your hand for a woman.
Is that why you bit your hand?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't remember the movie. I was in high school. Yeah. I just got some for the first time in my life. Huh?
I said one of the whole things is like making yourself bleed. So Jamie's character like bit his hand because they say you can't do that to yourself. Just
right, I'll check it out. I will. And then lastly, a film that this movie always gets bunched in with, About Last Night or Think Like a Man.
Act like a woman, think like a man.
That was nice. That was a nice round, Rachel.
That was good.
That was a nice round, man. Break up the monotony for a little bit.
For sure.
First experience. Do you remember your first time watching this film?
You know what? I think I saw this on like Stars for the first time. I know I didn't go to the theater for it. So I want to say it was a premium channel exclusive. How about you?
Definitely didn't go to the theater. I know that for a fact. Can't remember my first time watching it, but I do remember it was an instant, oh, I like this. Just one of those stumbled in, oh, I never saw this, let me check it out. In one of those moments. And I just, from day one, I've always liked this movie. I just like the way it was told, the pace of it and everything else. And it probably has a lot to do. So I was looking up some stuff when we were prepping for the episode, and I found this quote from Regina King. And it's really as simple as this. I talk about how much I like it and how easy it is to watch. I forget which publication was interviewing her, but they asked, what is it about this story that holds up after 25 years? Really in reference to it being a remake. And Regina Hall said, man, because no one has gotten it right, whether it's 25 million years ago or 25,000 years ago. And she's talking about the concept of love, right? I think it's the idea of exploring relationships and couples and what each individual person brings to a relationship. Seeing that, people probably look at it and see themselves. And that's part of the reason and the draw and the appeal for even Romance Month, right? Like that's why it's one of my favorite topics. And one of, I love having these conversations with Rachel just because you get different scenarios and we don't have to be too anecdotal about our lives, but we can be in these different situations that people are in that we see on screen and kind of say what we would do or what wouldn't we do and look at it from the perspective of maturity and age and wisdom of maybe back then I would have done it like this, but now I look at it like this. Like there's no one answer to how to love someone or what love is. And I think that's why rom-coms and romance films will always have a place. They'll always be one of my favorite because you can tell the same story, but with different people, and it's going to be a different thing.
Yeah.
Right. So I enjoy all of it. And I've mentioned we've done films that kind of feel similar.
For sure.
But they all still hit. They all still hit, man. So I appreciate it. That's why we even do this or that, because a lot of those films are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But you have different characters, different scenarios, and their own things that make them stand out, just like any relationship. Any relationship is like that. And I think that's a perfect way to kind of say it. So I'm glad I stumbled upon that post from Regina, because I think that really describes why these films work and why Romance Month exists in the first place.
For sure.
You ready to go ahead and talk about best scenes?
Let's get into it.
Let's go ahead and get into it. Rachel, it's your film. Go ahead and kick us off.
It's our film. It's kind of like it's both ours.
You'll keep it in my house.
Today.
Nah, it's my. I actually got the DVD, so it's my house.
Yeah, you're right. Right. I don't have anything. I don't have a laptop. I don't have anything today. Where do we always start? But the opening. I loved it. Maybe even like the first 15 minutes, not just the initial intro, but just the full. We get to see who the characters are, where they work, or at least Bernie and Danny. Just everything about it. It gets the intro of LA, the scenery of it all, the livelihood of every character in their origin stories. I love that, just because it's the foundation.
Yeah, and to piggyback off what you said, this is probably the best time to say this. This is more of like a best moments versus best scenes, because a lot of these things are lumped in. There are some standout moments that I like, but they're not necessarily great to the point where we need to break them down fully. We'll talk about one that I had right after this. But you're right, the first 15 minutes at opening, just kind of fast paced. I say it all the time. I feel like just being dropped in this world, and you just got these two friends talking and just seeing both angles. I like when people get clever and they use the trope of having the same conversation, but kind of going back and forth between two different groups. So, as you're finishing one sentence, the other one starts and you kind of keep rolling from there.
For sure.
I thought that was really clever. Not clever because it's not like it's an original idea, but I thought it worked well in this film. The men versus women aspect of it, those scenarios, just a little small shit that I could see myself saying. Like that moment when he's explaining. So when I say he, Bernie's explaining, I met this girl, but I think I kind of know her. And they go to that scene where he says, "What's up?" to Joan. He's like, "Oh yeah, you know Angie, right? Yeah, Angie. You used to date Angela, right? Date. It's fucking the shit out of Angela." That's what that was. That's usually what it is for me, dating. Sweating them edges out. Yeah, all that shit. That shit was funny to me. So it kind of lets you know the tone of the film. And I do want to highlight, I think that was a great pairing. I think they're great in everything they do together for the most part. It's funny because they were asking Regina Hall, I think in that same interview, like, are you ever skeptical of remaking like films? How you know when it's time to make it? She was like, you got to make sure there's an audience. I did The Honeymooners, so shout out to The Honeymooners.
Shout out to The Honeymooners. Cedric the Entertainer was just on. It was either Club Shay Shay or Tank. It was Tank's podcast, R&B music or R&B money, and he was talking about The Honeymooners, how it just wasn't the time, and like how certain tweaks, they could have made it work, better than.
Mm-hmm.
But that's very funny that you just brought that up. Listen to that to Cedric
Yeah.
on R&B Money.
Hey man, that's fascinating stuff. It's always interesting when some things don't work. They should work. They look like they'll work, but they just don't.
But they just don't. Yeah.
Also, going to your point, Rachel, we also get information about Danny and Debbie. So we get information all about all four, but them in particular, and they don't do it in a way where it's really over the head. It's like really in passing. You know what I mean? Like Debbie only hooks up with dudes that are firm, and she never goes out. And Danny's still reeling from a breakup, and he doesn't go out, and he's sad and lonely. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Have you ever brought a "this is not a date" friend? You ever been meeting up with a person and did the whole I was gonna call it the Jay-Z. If you know, you know. That's still wild. It's still one of the most wild things ever.
Nope.
Never have?
Mm-mm. If I brought somebody along, it's because I was young and was probably on punishment, didn't have my car. Or that's really probably the primary reason, because usually I like to sneak and geek. So I don't really like to be having too many people in my
feel you, man. Hey, Nate called me a ninja. Nate be calling me a ninja, man. He said, man, you years later he be finding out about stuff like what? I'm like, yeah, man. I told y'all on this podcast once upon a time. I forget which episode it was, man. I do not kiss or tell. I learned that in high school. Because these niggas will tell your business. Nope, you're moving low. But yeah, that's really about it. Wrapping up that opening scene. The me and you will never be boring. That shit's always funny to me. That nigga going in the bathroom to hit it. Putting all your friends' business out there.
Crazy.
Once again, like just all of that shit. And then that ends up leading into them, Danny walking her out to the car, and they end up having their own little date, and it's on the first night, back to the crib. My next moment, or the next moment I have after that, is Danny and Bernie at work the next day. Not really the scene per se, but just that whole. So we see that Bernie's, he's already with Joan, and they live together. So Joan and Debbie are talking, about Danny, and then of course Bernie is there. He kind of hears it. Then he sees him at work, and he just kind of does that whole like, "Let me shake your hand, man. I heard you got it down last night. Like, oh, she gonna find you. Yeah, all that nasty stuff you did to her. She gonna all of that. Just that whole guys. I know something. I know you just got it in. Like, I don't know what it is. It was just a funny moment. Even he lied about going to the dentist, and the killer came and said, "Man, guys from corporate aren't buying it. Where I was eating pussy all night." Like, since you want to hear the truth, that's what I was doing. Like, I just thought it was a silly scene, silly moment. It always makes me laugh when I watch this film. So it's not my favorite or anything like that, but it always makes me chuckle every time I watch it. What's the next scene that you have?
My next scene is not until the Dodgers game.
That's my next scene too.
Okay. So I love this scene. First off, I love a sporting event. I don't all the way know. I understand the concept of baseball. Let's be very clear. Howsoever, other than getting drunk with your people, I'm not that into it. But if you take me to your father's seats, your good seats, things of sentimental value, and just what the Dodgers essentially mean and Jackie Robinson mean to Black people anyway, hey, you've got me. I'm going to be down for the cause. I'm going to love that. And the fact that Danny, we know that he's reeling from the breakup with Allison. He's boring. He's kind of a shell of himself. But the fact that you've taken me somewhere so important and special to you, it's very intimate for somebody who's not quite ready to be back out there. And then even after taking Joan to Casey's bar, you're doing a lot with very little information, with very little background on me. We had a good time, but you doing this? You must really like me. You love me.
we low key gonna talk about this and things that bother me.
Okay. Ooh, okay.
But I do every point you made, absolutely. Like you were
Mm-hmm.
doing everything to show that you like someone. Obviously, they got hit with the pump fake by Bernie and Joan.
For
They
sure.
set them up because they were like, the friends that are actually kind of messing around on some like, man, what y'all doing?
Yeah.
Like, y'all sitting here fucking, y'all don't go out in public. Like, we gonna set this up. And they actually had a good time together. And they realized it. And like you said, it's funny because that's one of those famous tropes.
Yeah.
Like, I never brought a girl here. Like, niggas be looking like, man, this nigga, the bartender be sitting behind there like, this nigga lying like a motherfucker.
Right.
But you could tell that was true. Like, he had never brought anybody in. Casey, who was really outside of Bernie, like that friend or mentor, kind of like that fatherly figure. I believe the fact this film made me believe that him and his dad were best friends.
Yeah.
And that he's been in his life. There was just a comfort between those two characters. And just learning those things, right? Especially all the things that you aren't supposed to know. Because I don't think that Danny was ever going to tell her that I never brought a girl. I don't think he was trying to do it the game.
Yeah.
But Casey was on that. Like, I've known him forever. Like, literally since he was a little kid. And plenty of times he's been in this bar, never brought a woman. You must be something special. Similar to She Taught Love last week, right? As much as Rachel hated that movie. There was a scene when they were talking about Astronova, when the dad and Frank were talking. He said, she told you about that? Like, you must be important because that's real sacred. That's some sacred stuff right there. So that's always cool, especially when you, like Rachel, to your point, when you're on the end of, like somebody's letting me into that. Oh, you really like me. You really fuck with me. Okay, then bet. And it makes it easier to move. Like, there is no hesitation. One of the things that I think we all get hung up on is how much does this person like me? Like, nobody really wants to, and they kind of explore that when they talk about the I love you, which we'll get to in a second. But they kind of explore that. Like, nobody wants to give that leverage up. Like, I don't want to be too thirsty. I don't want to kind of be the first one to do this. I want it to be a little bit more even. And that's a real thing. And it was cool. And that's when, maybe not things that bother me, but that's when you kind of transition to them actually dating in the same montage. And they're in the tub. And that's what got me thinking, Rachel. You mentioned that, yeah, you like me, this, that, and the third. Y'all are in this tub after all this, asking questions like when your birthday. You've been fucking her for whoever knows how long, and you don't even know when her birthday is, bro. Like, y'all don't know nothing.
They just moved very fast. It felt good.
What I'm saying is, I'm bringing you to my sacred place in the world, and I don't even know your birthday. He probably don't even know her last name.
She got that comeback, so it just is what it is.
But it also goes to show how easy it is to get caught up with fucking.
For sure.
Like, I had zero interest in really knowing who this person is.
That's the problem. That's what happens in all these not all, but these relationships nowadays are situationships. You're just caught up in the rapture of the physicality of love, not the crazy craze of love. Shout out to Jill Scott.
That's real. That's real, man. But yeah, seeing them start actually dating and embrace the fact that they're dating. There's a lot of people date and they just don't admit it. They just that nigga's been dating forever. What's your next scene? I got a couple moments maybe in the middle.
Okay, so you probably have something before me, but it's Am I Your Girlfriend?
Okay, then. So right before that.
Okay.
No, actually, that is my next scene. Oh. That is my next scene, actually. That is. So we're on the same page once again.
We see each. Am I your girlfriend? Let me ask you. But before I ask you, I love that just because it do be like that. Like, tell me, do you like me? This means something, right? We not just fucking, but that's the problem when you don't really kind of set ground rules before. To your previous point, you're just caught up in the physicality of it all. And if it's good, you're gonna keep doing it. I laughed so hard when Bernie was like, we still need condoms, because once you not me. Hypothetically. But once you get up in there so many times, like, we don't need to keep pretending. Now it's gonna be the luck of the draw. We're gonna see what happened. But but him asking, do we still need that? It was real as hell. And so maybe that was one of the nuances with like Black input. But then there's that. But just that question, is this more than something that's just physical? We mean something to each other, right? Now, candidly, we never saw Debbie and Bernie on a date. Not a real one.
Right.
Intro?
You mean Joan and Bernie?
No.
Regina Hall and Kevin Hart?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Joan. You keep calling Joan Debbie.
Why
Debbie is Joy Bryant.
I don't feel like that's right.
I promise you, man. I promise you.
Why do I have it like that everywhere?
Because you said your shit been chaos all day, man. It is what it is.
Man. Bernie, Debbie, Joan dinner. Bernie. Oh.
Yeah.
Bernie, Joan breakup montage. That's okay. Who are these people again? I'm so sorry, y'all.
Nah, it's all good, man. Keep going. I love it. I love it. It's gonna be one of my favorite episodes to re-listen to. I can't wait.
So ridiculous. I sound so unprepared. Joan
and Bernie.
Joan asking, do I mean something to you? Because that matters. And you get lost in the sauce of it all. And when it's just physical, I was saying we never saw them on dates. Other than the intro, everything was in the bedroom or wherever they laid their hats was their home, So I really, really liked it. And then I appreciated the realness of Bernie being like, yeah, of course. Because what you gonna say? No? In this moment?
Yeah.
You want to get some?
Say no, nigga. She ain't about to stop.
I'm literally on top of you. What are you talking about?
Yeah, about to stop. Say no and I'm gonna what's up?
No.
It's been no all these times before this, but stop, man.
I hate that. Okay, I'm about to get in your business.
Well, go ahead.
Do you I'm sure you have, but in grown men, Kieron, life, would you ask a woman like to be your girlfriend?
Would I ask a woman to be my girlfriend?
Yeah, what do you do? Like at 38? Do you just be like, we've been kicking it? We together?
No, you would make it. No. I'm never a leave it up to interpretation, because leaving up to interpretation, I'm always single. So not just me, but you single too. Like, shout out to Carmelo, man. La married, but I ain't. Hey, niggas be having some of the illest quotes ever. I don't even know if that's a real quote, so I don't even want to put that on Carmelo. But I remember when that came out, La married, I ain't, and it definitely sounds like something the nigga would say.
Yeah.
No, you have to establish exactly what it is and where you are. See, the issue is, and this is what happened to Bernie and Joan. They were just fucking. You made the point. They're only. I love you looking at your notes, saying like, which one is these niggas? Kevin Hart and Regina Hall. They did not have a date outside of the first one, and even then, like even their introduction, it was all based on sex. They had sex the first night. Yeah. So usually, in the traditional sense of how you think of things, those aren't the times when you I think when people date with intention, they really have their mindset on, all right, these are the steps I'm going to follow. Versus this is some strange that I picked up in Los Angeles. Yeah. It is what it is. I don't have any expectations that's going any further than what happened tonight. But with them, that's why he's bringing this isn't a date, friends, right? I just want to, I enjoy your time. I enjoy having sex with you, but I'm not ready to push it there. I don't want you to think this is anything more than what it is. And Bernie was on that track until she finally said, like, yo, this is mean something. And I tell you, and this has never happened to me, but I know for a fact it happens. Because I know two people that I'm very cool with. Two dudes that I'm very cool with. Now, granted, we were younger. They definitely been hit the middle of the sex, like, we go together, right? And to your point, Rachel, they hit them with the because what you gonna say? Like one person, I'll never forget him telling me he was down. I'm not gonna say who it was, but I remember he was. I'm not gonna do that.
Tell me off camera.
Yeah, I ain't gonna do that. I was about to say it wasn't gonna tell who it was, but I'm not. I don't even want to go down that path. Either way, in college, I remember him telling me like, "Yeah, man, she."
Okay.
As Bernie Mac said, she was giving him special attention and looked up and said, "We go together, right?" He said the nigga said, "Yeah." He was so salty because he did not like that girl and did not want to go with her, but he had nothing else to say. So I just think it's funny that it's the middle of sex. It's not before or anything like that. Let's sit down and have this conversation. Like they want to get you in that vulnerable. Not they. I don't want to put that on all women. But in these scenarios, get you in that vulnerable spot. Like, nigga, what's up? What type of games is being played? How's it going down?
How's it down? Okay, let me ask you this. I'm all up in your business. Not necessarily you specifically, but just the male perspective and your specific opinion. How long?
Stop. Nope. I'm not doing this. I think I know what you're about to ask me. Go ahead. Let me finish your question.
How long can you just be sleeping with somebody?
See, I knew you was gonna ask that.
Before feelings are caught, and before you want to ask the question, is this more than that?
What's your next scene, man? That's a tricky question, and I don't want to. All right. So feelings getting caught is one thing. Acting on feelings getting caught is another. And that's just kind of what it is.
I feel you.
Like, feelings get caught. Feelings naturally. All right. Here's what it is. Feelings naturally get caught, right?
For sure.
Even if
I'm sharing my glory with you.
Yeah, and I don't want to say it like that because it's not emotionless. But what I mean is, it gets. Have your cake and eat it too, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting this and I enjoy this physical relationship. I don't necessarily want to add the other elements of making it something more than that, which isn't cool or fair, whatever you want to call it. But at some point, I think if both parties understand that this is for each other, like, and it is what it is. The issue is it can get tricky when those conversations are had, because if something needs to change in that, then it's kind of out of left field to other parties because you don't talk about it. That's the biggest thing that happens in these situationships or whatever you want to call them. You don't talk about what happens or if there's any kind of procedure. Does it just fade off, or is there a conversation to where you need to sit down and quote unquote break up? Like, hey, because how you fucking all right? How you fucking someone for 3 years and then hitting with the, hey man, I'm kind of, got this other shorty that I'm into. Like, what you mean you into her? What you been doing with me this whole time? So it gets real tricky. It can get real tricky. And this is me talking from the male perspective. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay. Very interesting.
But yeah, because it's like Rachel, it's no different than the kid. We talked about only children on what was that? We Got Y'all?
Yeah.
Only child, yeah. It's like the kid who doesn't have any siblings, got all their toys, never plays with the toy. Their cousin come over, now they picking up the toy. All of a sudden, that kid wants to play with that toy now.
For sure.
It's no different. Like, you're not claiming, so people, you don't claim each other, right? Or whatever the case is, but let y'all be out and let somebody else be in her face. Niggas ain't never that cool to be like, oh man, it's all good. Nah, man, who the fuck is that nigga in your face like that? But you ain't even claiming her, so that's wild, right? It's a real tricky concept.
That's where I like to see what niggas is made of.
Rachel up there like, are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here? You wild.
I love seeing if a nigga's gonna sweat or not.
You wild for that, man.
It's technically you on your next scene.
Yeah. So just a moment. Very interesting. Yeah, I love you. The casual.
Wait.
Danny described it as.
I love you too.
Danny described it as. Oh yeah, I love you too, Rachel. Danny described it as she said it, but I don't think she meant to say it. I might differ because it came out so naturally. It was one of those it came out very naturally, but it was just the fried moment of that nigga had no idea what to do with that. Didn't say it back. She didn't wait. She kind of just got up and awkwardly got the place. It's just a very awkward moment. And just the whole concept of that. So what are your thoughts on the I love you situation? Is that something that should be mutual exclusive? Have you ever, maybe not you per se, but do you know of any moments where someone might want to tell someone they love them, but they are scared because they might not get that same reaction, or because that's rough. That's tricky. Like, that's real. If you tell someone you love them and they don't say that shit back, that shit is hurtful.
It's very hurtful.
You know what I mean? So that's like, I'm looking at it and I get as much as I've seen this film, I still get a little secondhand embarrassment for Debbie, because while she meant it, she didn't mean to say it at that time.
Yeah, it was premature.
Like, that's not the moment. It was definitely premature, even though she meant that shit. And it's like, damn. But if I'm not mistaken, they already moved in at this point, right?
Yeah, just about. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm moving a woman in that I don't love, like, for one.
Right. So the love is implied, you know.
Yeah, unless you must be splitting rent, because we roommates. Because if I don't love you, why you living here?
That's the thing. I'll never forget. I referenced him before on here, and he was looking around my space, and he had put some stuff in my closet. I said, "What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?" So to your point, that level of comfort where I am making room in my domicile for you to be here beyond the night, a few nights a week, you get comfortable. I don't want you lugging this whole bag around. Like, here go a little drawer for you. So the love is implied. So I feel like she was right, because how couldn't you feel it? Bernie and Danny and Debbie were going on dates, unlike Joan and Bernie. They were doing the things, all the things that you say that you want to do in a relationship, or in preparation for a relationship. So it was
as soon as you said all the things, I thought about jokes. That nigga made a song called "All the Things a Man Won't Do." That shit nasty. Yo, that nigga wild. Yo, the game, man. Dirty Mac been around for a long time. But yeah, that's just.
Will, hello.
Hey, man. That nigga Chris Brown said, "When a rich nigga wants you, your nigga can't do nothing for you."
Ow.
Come on, man. Joan and I guess it's on you. It's on you.
Yeah, Joan Bernie breakup montage. That's fun.
Yeah, mine was technically the fight on Halloween.
Okay.
The montage, all of that can go. Go ahead, kick it off.
Yeah, so Joan and Bernie breaking up, because who lies about being a Jew and that being your reason? But here's the thing: when you don't really want to be with somebody, you will make up any stupid ass reason as to why they can't meet your mother and whatever else the scenario was, because.
And that's why things go left with me, because I'm not doing none of that. Like, no, it's just no. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why are we doing this? Like I said, middle of sex, you ask me, we go again. No, we don't. What? What? No, you know we don't. You know we don't. So why you ask me this? You know what I mean? Like, go ahead.
You prepared to get out?
I was about to say some wild shit.
Of her and her house.
She's not asking.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You have to get out. Get off.
All right. You got it. If you got the energy to say that shit, then go ahead.
But they were, mind you, they were betwixt. It's not over. We haven't gotten to the glory hallelujah of it all.
It's always a glory hallelujah of it all. What are you talking about? Let me stop, man. Let me shit. Talking shit, y'all. Jokes. Jokes. It's a joke.
Iron over here.
Let me shit. But nah, on a serious tip, of course that's what's gonna happen, right? You can't, if you get asked that and you say no, it's over. Everything's over. It's supposed to be anyway. Yeah, it's over.
Ooh, so you want me to start crying?
Listen, I'm the same person.
That's what was start.
Chaz always tells the story. I don't even know why I'm repeating this, because you're gonna feel what you feel about me either way. But I think I might have. I don't know if I told it on this podcast, but I know I've said it before. There was a moment, and it took me 2 years to even understand why Chaz thought this shit was so funny. But there was a moment where there was a certain woman who was just like, she did not take it well that, our time was up. And she was blowing me up one day, and I literally picked up the phone, and all I could say was, "Hey man, you gotta be stronger than that." And Chaz bust out laughing, and it took me 2 years to even understand because I meant that shit. Like it was just that's all I had to say to her. Like you got to be stronger than that. And I realized how fried that was after the fact. Like that was some fucked up fried shit for me to say. But that's just my personality. Like I don't know what else to tell you. Like if you cry, you cry.
I would have been on your doorstep.
That's happened too.
Are you fucking crazy?
my car got stolen in college. My car got stolen.
It did.
Like, you know what I mean? Like this, these women's not fucking around with me, bro. They're not playing my games.
And
I did a lot of fried shit, but I paid for it every single time.
Thank God for growth.
Amen. Amen.
The maturation of Rich.
Nah, that's real. But I really didn't. Like, I don't handle those situations well, Rachel.
Yeah.
Like I don't. Like especially unless it's a friend level. If it's like an intimate, we've been like I don't know what else to tell you. Like it's gonna be okay. Like you gotta be stronger than that, nigga. Tighten up.
I would unalive you. Literally.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Chaz, man. He says he always says that's my favorite K Rich story. Like so you really looked that woman down like got stronger. I ain't got nothing else for you.
We gotta do an episode with Chaz with me on there.
yeah, nah. I done said Chaz. No, Chaz get me indicted, man. I done said a lot of fried shit around Chaz.
There.
Where are we?
We're on Bernie and Joan breakup.
The breakup.
Just because people be lying. And sometimes you just got to go with it. Shout out to Joan for abiding, despite being salty about the whole thing. But, I felt like Bernie handled it like a clown. But that's it. Go ahead.
Nah, he did. He handled it like a clown. And I particularly like the Halloween breakup. Just because they're the argument, you can tell when people still like each other. But it was so ridiculous and them going back and forth and just a little tap on the nose. Security!
Yeah, hold on. Before we get there, we got Allison, the phone call and the naked pizza, all of that. Just because that is...
I didn't have that down. Go ahead.
Yeah, so dare I say that is the first time we see sort of cracks in the armor of Danny and Debbie's.
There you go. D&D. D&D.
Double D of Danny and Debbie's relationship. Because all it takes is that one phone call. And Debbie wasn't trying to be nosy. She wasn't going through his phone. They have the same phone, which is crazy because why don't have no cases, but whatever. I'm trying to hand you your phone and I see your old bitches calling you, texting.
Sheets I love. Same thing happened last week in our last episode we had.
I smacked the fuck out of all y'all.
But he don't know why she calling. Like, but let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
How long is an ex's number in your phone? Does it ever get deleted?
Did they change it?
You don't know. Like you just never. Do you think? I guess here's the question: do you think was Alice's number in Danny's phone because Danny had hoped that maybe we can reconcile at some point, or I just never go through my contacts and delete people?
It's probably the latter. She was a treacherous lady, so I don't think that he necessarily wanted her back. He was fairly heartbroken by it all, so I think it
which will make me believe that would be a reason for someone to immediately like, you know what, Xing all this shit out.
No, I have so many old numbers in my phone. Why you ain't calling? I ain't calling you. That's if fair. You call, I want to know who the fuck it is. Now I mostly don't answer my phone anyways, but at the time when I was addicted to my phone, I need to see if do not disturb, if do not answer is calling.
That's fair.
So that's I cannot.
Fair. Great point.
They always want that back. So I mean, I have several old things who randomly be trying to bother me. What the fuck do you want? Nothing. Just to say hi.
Big mama. Hey, Rachel out here wild. She said several old things. That's another post you made recently on your IG, man. If I'm the problem, why they always coming back?
I need to know. Because
shit.
That's what the women gonna say. Because they feel like they can. And they know they can't.
What am I
Um,
saying? All right, so after that, after the Halloween joint, I was gonna go to Thanksgiving.
okay, I got the work party right before Thanksgiving.
All right, go ahead.
Just because we hadn't really seen Debbie in her element outside of Joan, outside of Danny. So we're at, go ahead.
Got another question for you.
Okay.
Hey, this is an episode full of questions.
I got answers.
I'm curious to know what the etiquette on this is. If women think about this different from men or whatever the case is. We're in Debbie's element.
Mm-hmm.
She used to sleep with old boy.
Yes.
If you're Debbie, are you telling Danny beforehand, hey, just a quick heads up, me and Buddy got a past? Or is you just keeping that play? Because that ain't none of your business. That's the way I look at it. That ain't got nothing to do with you.
Me? Who needs to know?
Yeah, why you need that? What's it got to do with you?
Is there room for it to happen again? I might tell you after the fact, but I'm not telling you. But that's tricky because on the flip side, give me the information I need to know so that I can behave accordingly in here.
I've been in a situation. Start dating a woman. She asks you to come out with the friends, bet, sitting there having drinks. Niggas there too. Cool shit, cool ass rich. You know, the one of the other friends. Yeah, so remember, when y'all used to date in college, like, well, what?
Yeah,
I wasn't upset. It didn't matter. Right? Everybody got a pass. Like, it doesn't matter. It's more so like, hey, just give me that's just information you don't want to find out at the moment. Not that it really matters per se, but it is cool to know, like, hey, just so you know. That way, if any kind of slick shit happen, I know if you're trying to be funny or not.
If you're trying to be
not
funny.
You, the woman, but I'm talking about dude. Like, dude trying to be funny.
Both.
Nah, stop. Come on,
man. Well, for women, motherfuckers be funny.
Hilarious.
But I'm hilarious.
Hey, shit can get crazy.
Crazy,
scary, spooky. Yeah, man. What else did you have to have about? Oh no, you didn't even go into your scene. So we see Debbie in her element. I just asked a question. My bad.
She's in her element. She's at the work party. We see also Big Makai Brooks up in there. Come on, Big Daddy. We love a Superman. Anyways, I'm
not fucking with you, man.
We see Debbie in her element, and Danny is not feeling it. His energy sucked. And here's what I wanted to specifically say about that, not just because he was on one, but his reasoning after the fact. He's pissing away, wiping his ass with money that could really change lives. We found out up to this point that Danny really does care about people. He's putting his job on the line to take care of people and this, that, and the third. Here's the thing, though. As a woman with a particular amount of fiscal success, it is very hard to date.
I love how you put that. Go ahead.
Thank you. It is very hard to date a man who is unhappy with his own life, career, purpose, and finances. And when it's just us in the relationship, in the room, wherever we are, that's fine. On my playing field, that's fine. My bar, my friends, even though Joan is also her friend, but my friend group, everything that we saw up to this point was on Danny's terms. This is the first time where Debbie is able to just be her. We talked about if Beale Street can talk. One of the lines, what's the face said about Fonnie is like, I only know him Trish or Tish. I only know him in my world. I've never experienced him in his. And that is what Danny, for the first time that we can see, is him experiencing Debbie in her world and the type of money niggas that she's around. And here you are, a lowly drink pusher, you know?
See,
He's not even
see,
he's not even a bartender at this point, you know. He's working supply and demand. I'm not shitting on it because he had a nice ass loft. Despite but he was unhappy, you know?
yeah.
It's nothing like a man that's unhappy seeing his woman, not just any woman, but his woman, and feeling like, and they didn't say it, but for me it was implied, and maybe this is just what I think of men, but she's settling for me.
Man, that's a tricky conversation. I wish the film explored it a little bit more,
Yeah.
in a real way. And this isn't maybe the avenue, maybe in a drama or more of a romantic film kind
Hmm.
of thing. We talk about Love Jones, and Love Jones isn't like a comedy. It's funny along the lines of, if you black, kind of what we talked about earlier. There's just some moments that are funny, but it's not. There's no comedy tone about it for the most part. That type of film I think would be interesting to explore, and I'm sure there's films like this. Because even in like disappearing acts, like men who struggle, especially financially,
Did we
and
do?
what that, yeah, we did disappearing acts. That was last year's romance month, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That whole concept is, because this one's a little bit different because they both, like you said, Danny's not in the dunes. You know what I
Uh,
mean?
yep, but it's another
He's got the
portion
nice
woman
loft,
with a
but
working
it's
class.
not. It's shit.
Mhm.
Bernie even said it. He was like, "Yeah, she may make more money than me." And that nigga said, "What are you talking about? You know, good damn well she make more money than you. Like, what are you saying right now?"
Yeah.
And just what that does to you, especially once again, this is why I kind of even asked, do you bring up the fact that you have a pass with this dude? Because this dude was talking about all the bread he got, and y'all had a pass. Like, how do I know if I get in my little funk that you just ain't about to go here and get? You know what I mean?
Because you should know me better than that.
I know, yes, you
Right.
should, but what I'm saying is an insecure person who's already, because it's never about the person, it's never about Debbie. It's about him. It's about how he feels about himself.
Mm-hmm.
And if he feels lowly of himself, that's why he acting all shit. That's why he pouting. One of Rachel's things that she hates the most. Nigga, stop. Get your grown ass on away from him pouting. Like, stay
Please.
your ass at home then if that's what you're doing. So it's an interesting thing that I wish the conversation wasn't about, like, I hate my job. I hate having every day. I can help people. I wish I could help people more.
Mm-hmm.
Versus I feel insecure that I'm not where I'm gonna be in life. And I don't, not only that, Rachel, I don't have the street map of how I'm going to get to where I want to go.
Right.
Like, I'm just here.
I don't
And that's
know
something
where
adults were.
what to go.
Yeah, remember these characters are in their late 20s. Supposed to
Mm-hmm.
be in their late 20s, right? So that's a scary place. Yeah, Michael Ealy was 40 when they
Yeah, I
filmed
said
this.
all the niggas is 40 plus in this movie.
Yeah, Michael Ealy was 40. He lost 20 to 25 pounds
Hmm.
and did the classic face shaving. We all know my thoughts on that. Just to appear younger.
Yeah.
But he was acting like, at this scene, he was acting like a nigga with no facial hair.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what he was acting like. What you on, bro? But I get it. I understand what it's like, and that's a real thing. And just, I think more than anything, just the ability to get through it together,
Mm-hmm.
and just that form of communication. There's still, it reminds you more than anything that you're still learning about each other.
For
I think
sure.
it was just last week when I learned your middle name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're still learning things and trying to figure out how to communicate. And also, from Debbie's point of view, okay, bet, because we all, anytime we're in a relationship or dealing with a new person, it's all good in the beginning. When's that first time that you get angry? When's that first time you start pouting? When's that first time you have an attitude about something? When's that first time that I get that ick, as they call it,
Yeah.
that I notice that ick that I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? So just observing, I'm sure that's a mental number for Debbie. Like, damn, this nigga getting a mood. He is a fucking bear to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to be around this shitty ass attitude.
And he little?
Come on, man, stop. Uh, but yeah, that's just a real thing. And I just, like I said, got to keep the story moving. very interesting to be in that moment.
For
The next scene that I had after that was Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Go ahead.
Yeah, because obviously that's like the climax, I guess you would want to say, of the film.
Mhm.
They gotten to the point where you're in the relationship groove. Dave Chappelle talks about this in one of the stand-ups. Like him and his wife have been together so long. Like once you get past 10 years, you say you just kind of in the groove. Like you don't really talk as much. You know what I mean? Unless there's something special going on, it's kind of if it's the same thing, like you kind of in your own groove. Yeah, we live together, we but it ain't no beef, ain't no issue. But nigga, we'll do my thing, you do yours, and we'll come together, have our conversation that we need to, and keep it pushing. And I think that's a lot of people who have been together for a long time. Not everyone, obviously. I think a lot of people probably can say they operate in that way, but you don't want to. If you're not in it, so if you're single and you're not in it, you don't want to look at this and say, I don't want to be Debbie and Danny. I don't want to be living together and we have to sync and just not speaking or passing each other, not saying or any kind of playful what's up, smack on the ass, something.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It looks like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing then?
What are we doing?
Like, it feels like all of this is a chore. Like, damn, I wish I could go back and you had your own space so I don't have to front like I like you being here.
Yeah. What did you think of Danny getting so faded the night before?
So this was personal to me. Not personal in a real way, but just Thanksgiving. Night before Thanksgiving. That's always a tradition.
Holiday, for sure.
Yeah, that's always a tradition. So that's another thing about this film that they explored. Meshing your single life into someone else's. Right? Now I'm in a relationship. Can I still keep doing the same things? There's a moment when he asked, we can still see our friends without each other, right? Condescending as hell. But he wanted to make sure he didn't miss out on that. Yeah. My thing is this. Either you got to man up and do what you said you was going to do. If you got to play hurt, you got to play hurt. Or don't tell your girl you're going to do something. One of the two. Because either way, think about it. Either way, you're getting the same result. She's going to be mad. I'd rather you be mad, at least be mad that I said, no, I'm not doing this, versus me saying I am doing it and then waking up at noon the next day versus 7:30, 8 a.m.
Is that fair?
Is what fair? God. Nothing's ever fair.
I sure hope not. So, we were supposed to record on Saturday at 10 a.m. Yeah. You woke up at noon.
Yeah, I did.
We readjusted the schedule. It wasn't Thanksgiving. But things happen.
That's fair. Okay.
It just is what it is. He probably is the premier pie baker, which is why she asked him to do it.
So when you say is that fair, in which aspect? You think she should have taken it easy on him?
No, I mean, by all means, have an attitude. Oh, God, please. Yes, hang it over his head. Make him regret it. But
my goodness.
But I don't think it really was all of that. I think it was less you got up. I think she still was mad that he went out without her, even though I didn't want you to. But they had been fucked up in that apartment, so he's going extra hard. Danny could have just been out hanging. We saw at Halloween, he didn't do too much. Yeah, Joan and Bernie fucked up the groove a little bit, but we've seen you be able to go out and have a good time and not get shit-faced. He was out and excited to be free from his old ball and chain at home.
Yeah, and we ain't even got to New Year's yet.
And we ain't even got to New Year's.
I don't know, man.
You got fucked up because you hate me in this house. You hate it here. I hate it here. I'm trying to make a home. I want to do some shit. I done bought us this coffee table that you ain't have.
And that's the issue, though, right? Because my issue with the scene is Danny doing the little fake, where am I? What time is it? Humble walk. Like, nigga, just own up to the fact that, nigga, I got faded last night. My bad. I got fucked up. What you need me to do? And if you, huh?
Was it fake? Did he really not know what the fuck time it was?
No, I think he knew. I think he was really fucked up. I think he was hungover.
Yeah.
I think he was me this past Saturday.
See?
Faded.
Mm-hmm.
As Rachel says when I called out slurring
Blurring.
at noon the next day. So that lets you know what kind of a Friday night I had.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. But my thing is I'm not gonna hit you with Rachel, when that shit happens to me, I'll tell you straight at Rachel, I'm fucked up. We ain't doing this shit today.
For sure.
I'll be hitting you with Rachel, I'm gonna try to thug it out because I know you. Nah, I just tell you, listen, I fucked up. My bad.
Now see, Kieron, you are not keeping it real.
I don't say that. I do say my bad. Or I don't
Yeah, he said my bad too. If I didn't stop us, we would have still recorded.
No, Rachel, that's because I was still drunk. I'm talking about regular me. Like that was drunk me still talking like, oh shit, I can get up and do this. I didn't even know I was slurring my words. I thought everything was cool. I thought I could literally get up and do this. You were the one that recognized ASAP like, weird, there's no way we're recording today. But yeah, when I know I'm messed up, it's just all right, it is what it is. Like this ain't happening.
Okay.
Look at Rachel out here doing the okay on me. Don't hold drunk me against me. But going back to the Thanksgiving scene itself.
Uh-huh.
Bernie bringing a new woman.
Crazy.
Which is, I know it's your first time hosting. You got to get the guest list under control. You got to hit Bernie with the if you Danny, you got to hit Bernie with the hey man, John gonna be here. If you come dolo. We're not doing that. Not in my crib. Nope, not happening. I don't care how good of friends we are. There's gonna be peace in my crib on a holiday. Find somewhere else to go, or you can get a plate, come in and take it with you. Leave wherever you got in the car. Cause we ain't doing none of this.
I would have put Bernie out.
If you were who? All right. Ooh. All right. If you were Joan, or if you were Debbie, excuse me, would you have put Bernie out, or would you have asked Danny to put him out?
Me, Rachel, would have put him out, but me, Debbie, would have asked Danny to put him out. You're not doing this.
Yeah, and the correct answer is Danny's supposed to see that and at the door by not, bro.
We're not doing
this today. We're not doing this. I love you. You my dog. We're not doing this today.
Cause why you bringing turmoil to my home?
Yeah, and you know what you're doing.
And you know what.
And they got on the same dress. And of course, you know what it's like. You know, introducing Tracy. It's like Tracy Morgan. So she already salty. You know, Joan is already salty.
No.
And ain't that the worst one on Shantae?
Yeah,
bitch. On Shantae. Like, man, shut up. Get the fuck out of here.
If I'm Joan, you're not getting that reaction out of me. You will never get the satisfaction. You will never get the satisfaction.
She was ready, man. Listen, her and Bernie had something real. They said it, they'll never be born.
We'll never be born. We meant something to each other. My next scene is.
You know, hold on, man. You know how mad you gotta be at some shit to toss the main course out the window?
Yeah, why
would fried that is?
That shit would have pissed me the fuck off.
That's one thing that bothers me. I know we talk about it, yeah. But go ahead. What's your next scene?
The Allison of it all at the bar.
I hope it's not over me.
Yeah, like girl.
Daisy. So you and Daisy are you guys going steady?
I love being funny.
Yeah.
I love being funny with somebody I got history with. Very petty.
Oh, man.
But I feel like I can take a hint, drunk or not. And if you ain't going, I'm not coming back to your house. I don't know why Danny brought her there. He could have gotten in the cab to her house, dropped her to the door, and got the fuck on up out of there. I don't know why he brought her to his house. That's crazy as fuck.
So, hey, when we talk about wouldn't let that happen to me, ain't no fucking way. Not a possibility. You'll sleep inside this bar. You'll sleep inside this bar before I even think about bringing you to my crib.
Where my girl?
Come on, man, stop it.
Are you fucking crazy?
Never. Like what? There's nothing good that's gonna come out of that. Even if I do, like you are some good Samaritan shit. Like no, this is LA. Figure it out, man.
You cannot.
I'll take it. Casey, you got a couch you can sleep on?
That's it.
She can go to your crib. She's not coming to my crib, my nigga.
Ain't no cot upstairs in the back.
Yeah,
No,
like straight up. We'll see how drunk you are if you want to sleep in here. Because you see, she wasn't fucked up. She knew what she was doing.
she knew what she was doing. She wanted
Yeah,
to
man.
get to the house, get to their familiar space, fall into old habits. She said, "Call me when you bored, when you're horny."
Yeah, man. Allison Wild,
Allison,
condescending, the whole nine.
yeah, Allison and Danny had that Joan and Bernie. That would be boring, but that shit is
Yeah,
not.
Danny is a sucker though.
Yeah,
Danny is a sucker. Not like Laz Alonso and jumping the
jumping.
broom, but he a sucker. Yeah, Laz Alonso was one of the biggest suckers all rom-com history. My next thing is them drifting apart. The movie, I said heading into New York. I'm trying to read my notes.
It's a New Year's Eve.
New Year's, yes, thank you. Damn. I'm like, New York. What does New York got to do with it? I forgot the E. All right, yeah, heading into New Year's, right? Heading into New Year. I never abbreviate shit like that, so that's why I was confused.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about the ball and chain.
Yeah.
There's nothing like your friends. I don't know if people magnify the importance of your friends getting along with the person. Not going out of their way, but just being civil, just being cool.
It matters.
Like no issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you got some playful Pam and Martin type stuff, but just generally where Bernie would do things to where you knew, like, damn, nigga, you cool with me being in a relationship, my nigga? Like every time I talk to you, he said, you still grounded? Like shit like that. Like tell the ball and chain to let you out. Like, come on, bro. Like support the fact that I'm in a relationship. You might not agree with the shit, but just at least support it. Don't make me feel like I gotta prove something. Because certain niggas on the right day will jump out the window, be like, you know what? My friends say, fuck you. I'm going out. Fuck what you talking about. You starting some beef that you ain't got to. So it's always easier when the friends get along. Mm-hmm. And Danny was so hyped to go outside. Like they having dinner. He was so miserable and bored. As soon as she said, let's go out, this nigga said, I'll walk Pacino. That nigga got to the bar, took his jacket off.
He was gay.
Just started blurting shit at her. Like, yeah, I love you too. You just got out of jail. That's what it feels like. Hey, Rachel, you go out with your nigga and he describes leaving your crib as getting out of jail.
I'm leaving.
Just like Debbie did, huh?
I'm leaving. See, he's about to do it too. I'm leaving just like Debbie. Or am I gonna leave? Or am I gonna go turn up on the other side of the bar by myself?
Because I talked about Danny being miserable at the crib. Debbie was miserable at the bar.
She was.
But she was miserable not because she didn't want to be there, because she was there with somebody who didn't want to be with her. Like, I know you're having more fun if I'm not here.
Yeah. But what?
And that breaks my heart.
What was the switch though? How did we get here?
Time. Just time. That newness wears off.
We ain't even been
newness
together.
Wears off. You get the new whip. Some people listen. Some people get the new whip. Those first 3 to 4 months, car stay washed. Ain't no eating in the car. Keeping this inside vacuumed. After a while, man, that shit just become another car to you. It's not as special anymore. How you going 2-3 weeks without the car wash? You got Dorito bags in the front seat, water bottles in the back seat. You know what I'm saying? Like you stop appreciating the shit you had because now it's normal. It's part of your everyday. That's the part of relationships that tons of movies have talked about, and we've talked about ourselves, Rachel. It's the day-to-day. That's what keeps this shit going. That's what keeps it thriving, right? And Danny didn't have it. And she remembers, Debbie even said it at the beginning. I smell not ready written all over him. Mm-hmm. I kind of know what this is. I think we all know, whether we're dating, whatever, what kind of partnership this is. Like, are we going to get into something serious, or are we just passing the time? Are we just trying to wait and seeing what's going on? We're not intentional about none of it. And this nigga wasn't no relationship nigga. He thought he was. I want you in here. Remember, she was begging. Like, I need to hear you. I need to hear it from you that you want me in here. Remember his answer? I just took out part of my life to move you in here. That don't show it. He doesn't understand, bro. No, that doesn't show it. You got to say that shit to women. Just the same way Joan. Nigga, are we together? This means something, right?
For sure.
Words of affirmation, my nigga. So you got into this situation and now you're like, fuck, I can't take this car back. I'm stuck with this bitch.
I'm dead.
Not what When I say the bitch, I meant the car, not her like the woman.
Yes.
I don't call
The
women bitches.
character.
Yeah. But yeah, like he just realized, like, oh shit, I'm in some shit that I'm in a 360 deal, I'm in a death row deal, and I can't get out. And Danny's, once again, Danny's a sucker. So Danny's not gonna come to Debbie and say, hey, we need to talk. This is how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
How can we work this out? Remember, he was the one to say, well, what we doing here? Nigga, because that's what you do. We work shit out. We don't just jump at the first chance of trouble.
Yeah.
Dad was like, shit, give me my old life back. And then like every single A Tale as Old as Time, Beauty and the Beast, whatever, man. Once that motherfucker gone, you salty. Like, oh
Yeah.
man, I miss my nigga. Like,
For
hey,
sure.
Chris Rock, whatever you feel about Chris Rock. One of his stand-up jokes, man, you can either be bored and single or in a relationship and or you bored and lonely or in a relationship and miserable. Ain't no happiness nowhere.
Yikes. That's
I
bleak.
know, right? That is bleak. I don't think it's true. Don't get me wrong, but I think this film that's Danny's character. I think that's what he looks at it. Because I'm sure he's gonna fuck up again once he gets her back.
Yeah.
Gotta buy another dog, all types of shit. So
Yeah.
all of that, them breaking up. Was this really one big one night stand, one long one night stand?
Mm-hmm.
Really, that realization, that's got to be painful, Rachel, to be living with someone and then realize one day, like, hold up, my nigga, did you ever like me? Like, what was this?
I say all the time in real life, like, you can love somebody and not like them. Not liking your partner anymore is so detrimental and scary. And once I don't like you,
Have you seen Hard Truths yet?
huh?
Have you seen Hard Truths yet?
No.
Okay.
I don't know why. I do know why, but I'll see it before we record.
Cool. I was just gonna ask you about it. As soon as you said that, you would know exactly what I mean once you see it.
Yeah, my plan is once I get back in town, Thursday. Well, tomorrow, but Thursday to see it. If I don't like you, it's not really shit we can do for each other, and vice versa. Because even though you love me, your handling of me is very different once you no longer like me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was clear that they were not liking each other. Like, yeah, man, we might love each other, but what it is, but the like factor and the energy that comes with liking somebody, they didn't have it anymore.
Facts. Sad to see. You hate to see it, especially in the same house. You're gonna stop liking each other, man. Stay living apart.
And
But that's one of my biggest. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and it happens. Like, you will be in and out of seasons with people that you love and are in relationship with. But when it gets to that point where you are almost resentful of one another and them being in that space, occupying your home and whatever else, whatever responsibility that you have to have towards this person, once it becomes burdensome and not like a joy to take care of you, you might as well chop it.
That's why everybody needs monthly check-ins.
I'm with that.
Like, for real. I think that's a real. I think that will be a strong thing in a relationship. Monthly check-ins just to make sure everybody good. Well, I know some couples do it like from a relationships. I mean, from a relationship, from a financial standpoint, and just from a personal standpoint. Like,
yeah,
how did January go? Like, is there anything I did, or is there anything we need to talk about? Whatever the case is, you feeling good? Are you? Because sometimes, as we see in this film, it's not about the partner. It's not like, oh, Debbie did something to me or Danny did something to me. It's like, nah, some other shit happening in life, and it's making me not really care about this other shit because my mind isn't consumed with something else. And it's like, all right, then cool. Now that, I know how to move. Mm-hmm. I know that if you need a little space or you're not acting like yourself, what it is versus taking all of that in and thinking it's me, or whatever the case could be. So, yeah, I got two more things. I don't know what else you have on your list.
I have Bernie Debbie Jones dinner where she moved in and then had to move back out, and then just the last bit of
Did you want to talk about the dinner? I don't have the dinner on my list.
Just because Debbie has now moved back into Joan's apartment, Joan and Bernie are in a relationship. They have since reconciled, um, since New Year's Eve, essentially, and they are living their lives like it's golden. And now Debbie has become the third wheel in the house. We want to fuck for free, openly, as we learned throughout the movie. Debbie and nope, Joan and Bernie were very colorful in their sexual exploits. Um, so they needed that house to themselves.
Yeah,
They
yeah, they was geek too.
didn't need nobody else in there messing up the groove. So Debbie had already found her a new place. But here's the funny part to that. This is where I knew that Bernie had changed his heart towards Joan.
John.
You're eating this awful ass food, or at least pretending to. That's love.
Yeah, because I ain't doing none of that.
I have a whole Ziploc bag. Where did it come from? Your pocket? How did you do this? And so just all of that, because when you love covers a multitude of sins. And apparently,
Nope. See, I'm the nigga that says, hey, you can't cook, right?
why would you say that?
Because you can't. Like, I'm not. Hold on. What the fuck do I look like carrying Ziplocs to the table? Babe, you can't cook.
You don't have
Sorry,
to
I got you.
say, "Ooh, let me do it." I just, you know what, baby?
That's what I'm saying. I'll do it. You still got it. No, we talk. Listen, we talking shit. We talking shit over here. We gonna joke. We gonna laugh. All these jokes are getting told. Let you know in a very playful way.
And then when I get serious, then what?
Get cooking lessons. I got you. I'll pay for them.
Because I could just start lying and saying, "Well, you can't fuck. You can't do this, that, and the third." Like, now I'm about to hurt your feelings. Because why would you say that?
It's false.
You don't know. I'm an actress.
We don't believe you. You need more people. Yeah, man. We don't believe you, man. I don't believe you. Come on, let's stop it. Stop it, man. I'm looking at that with the fuck out of your face. You don't even believe that shit when you say it. That's exactly what I would say. You don't even believe that shit. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of one of my, I had the last as well, 15 minutes, whatever the case is, where Danny does the first move. Mm-hmm. Hey, stranger, that shit. And then obviously them not necessarily getting back together, but them at least being on good terms and going through the dating ring and kind of realizing, hey, I've seen some other people and I realize I don't like you. They both were, as Bernie said, passing up on all this dog park pussy. I can't do it. I'm thinking about somebody else. And just that moment, sometimes you need to, as Rachel, once again, you got to quote it, as always, love to let it go when it came back. That's how strong it was. Sometimes you got to let some shit go and then realize, like, nah, that's where I was supposed to be the whole time. And maybe that can change your mentality on how you enter the new or the second version of that relationship. So all of that was cool. And it was kind of having that cool Pacino moment. But the only other thing I had was really just the fucking in the chicken mask, just because it's just always humorous. Like, we don't sex shame over here at the Culture Garden, right? Get it how you live. But it is funny when you learn things about your niggas. Like, oh, you said some shit like, that's your business. I ain't never gonna comment. I ain't never gonna say nothing about this. This will never be brought up from me. But nigga, you fucking chicks and chicken man. Like, what you got going on? Crazy. And the fact that that whole scene was just fried because I always do that. I can't do nothing without the puppet man. I always like randomly say that, and then the nigga like listening, like, hold on, open the door, realize he getting it in. They say close the door. I don't know what nigga would stay on the inside. And just sitting there watching, and then go back outside, Rachel. He goes back outside, figures he recognizes the voice, and then opens the door again, John? Like, John? Like, bro, what you doing, bro? You was just violating all types of privacy. But they did that throughout the movie, remember? That nigga was thirsty to see the pictures. That nigga was thirsty to see the pictures. Like, hey, come on, man. She got big titties, man. Come on, man. Let me see the pictures. Hey, man, you being weird right now. That's what I've been on, too. You being weird right now, bro. Chill. Relax, my nigga. But yeah, if I walked in the room and the homie knocking the chick and the chick got a chicken mask on, I'm not gonna say nothing, but I'm like, yo, what the fuck? What kind of life you living, bro?
I would be so fucking weak. Are you crazy?
Hilarious.
Let me be lit. I would be weak. You hear me?
Listen, what the fuck y'all got going on here?
Okay, this episode is so long.
All right, you ready for quotes?
The quotes. Okay, I've got. I'm like a hair dryer. I'm blowing so hard. What? Why would that be one of my quotes?
I don't know, man. Apparently, you was fucking with it. Still list, man. Still list.
Feels silly. I'm John Legend of penis. The John Legend of penises, because I love John Legend. Me and you would never be boring. Life is short, and so is he. I don't think you were. I didn't think you were one of those girls who drops their friends at the minute they get some regular dick.
Nothing regular about this dick.
There ain't no magic in that, Mini Mike. Derek like Jeter. That's Big Macabre Brooks. This is Bernie like Madoff. Bishop like Tracy Morgan. And again, did you ever love me, or was it just some long one night stand? What you got, Rich?
One of my favorite at the very beginning, the Terrell Owens scene. He's corny. I say that a lot. He's corny. I don't have her number. You're gonna get it. All that nasty stuff you did to her, she's gonna find you. And then when right after Danny asked, "What do you think of her?" First you didn't care. Now you want to know what I think of her? Because that shit happens all the time. Like, nigga, which is it? Uchi Wally Wally or is it one Mike?
Come on.
Yeah, which one is it, man? You either like her or you don't. Hey, Bernie, corporate office guys are here, and they're not buying the whole dinner story. So should I just tell them I was eating pussy all night, Kellen? I said that earlier. This one's fucked up, but it's funny every time I watch it. I mean, every time I see it. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, you can't drink in here. Alcohol only after 6 p.m. Well, isn't it after 6 p.m. in Korea? I don't know. I'll call my grandma in China and ask her if she knows any Koreans. Because niggas is quick to be on some racist shit, even though we can't be racist. If you didn't have a pussy, there'd be a bounty on your head. What's his name? His name's Pacino. Hey, you talking to me? You talking to me? That's De Niro. I'm De Niro talking to Pacino. You know what De Niro movie that is? You talking to me?
You talking to me? Not A Few Good Men.
But De Niro wasn't in that. That's Jack Nicholson.
It's
came out in the 70s. I think 76.
I do know the movie, but it's escaping me.
And it was an improv line too. Taxi Driver.
Oh, that ain't what I was gonna say. Maybe I didn't. Maybe
Taxi Driver.
Didn't know. I was not gonna say Taxi Driver.
Who's your scene stealer, Rachel?
I didn't have one, but I guess it would be Casey.
That's fair.
Ensemble cast, you know.
Not really a scene stealer type of movie. I wrote down Christopher McDonald as Casey as well, but not a big scene stealer movie. Things that bother you?
Okay. Joan throwing that turkey out would piss me the fuck off. I understand it's a comedy. It was a bit raunchier than is my particular taste.
In what sense?
I don't know. It was just, I didn't care for a lot of the dialogue between, and I understand in my 20s, like I still have a horrible mouth, but I don't know. It just was like, ugh.
Okay. That's fair.
I think it's because of how we started this episode. There's no Black writers, and yeah, we can improv lines all day and insert various things, but it just didn't feel like
there was some white boy humor in it.
Yeah,
like like I'll show you my taint.
Yeah,
like that's not something niggas would say. Like, what do you mean? I'm not.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I think that is really probably it more than anything.
Fair enough.
What about you?
Yeah, anyone ordering 3 olives vodka, like that bothered me when Allison ordered that 3 olives. Like that's just why. Like all the things here, you want 3 olives. Debbie not knowing that when you hit the ignore button, that people know that they get sent straight to voicemail. That bothered me.
Yeah, it's 2014.
14.
She should have known.
Definitely should have known. The biggest thing that bothered me, it's a continuity issue in this film.
Mm-hmm.
They have two of them. One of them doesn't bother as much. One of them is there's a moment when Bernie told Joan that he was allergic to chocolate, and at the end of the movie, he's eating the chocolate cake.
Mm-hmm.
Continuity, not a big deal. But this one, the next one does bother me a lot. We talk about how much we love the scene where they're at the Dodgers game and then they go to Casey's.
Yeah.
Right? So we remember, we just mentioned in this episode, they're doing all this shit, and then later on they're in the tub talking about when's your birthday, right?
Uh-huh.
Casey tells her, hey, you and his dad still cool. No, he fucked me over. Died 20 years ago from bone cancer. Right? When they're in the tub, Danny asks Debbie, are your parents still together? She says, no, divorced when I was 16. What about you? Nigga, you know my daddy dead. You know my dad did. So why you asking what about you?
She wasn't being an active listener.
She wasn't being an active listener.
I can relate.
She was thinking about her response about Jackie Robinson, another first.
That's it, exactly. She was thinking about a zinger.
Or she was just geeked that she was the first girl that was ever brought to the bar.
Exactly.
Shit, man. Like, just my mom. Yeah, because you know that. You know that. But it's cool. I'm just saying. Every time. Come see about me. I don't really think there's any come see about me.
I don't have come see about me, but I do have a couple random things.
About what? Come see about me?
Nope.
Like trivia stuff?
Nope. Just thought.
Okay.
Number 1. Whiskey dick is an epidemic. 2. The Halloween leave early from Debbie was a foreboding of New Year's.
Yeah.
This bitch is always ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I said, in fairness, drinking the day before Thanksgiving is tradition. We already said that. But then I have a question for you.
What's up?
In the movie, Joan and Debbie are having a conversation. It's like the person who cares more always ends up losing out. What are your thoughts on caring more? And do you prefer, quote unquote, to be the carer or the caree?
The carry. If I had a preference. Because that gets tricky. It gets tricky when you care more. Mm-hmm. Depends on how deep it is and how genuine it is, right? So a lot of people say unconditional love, and that shit ain't true. Like, there's some conditions to it. But real unconditional, like, I love your dirty draws type shit.
Yeah.
That's a scary place to be in. So I don't that's a really scary place to be in, and I'd rather be the carrier.
Okay.
I'd rather be the carrier. But ideally, I would like to be like an equal circle of caring.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Circle of trust. Shout out to Meet the Parents. Equal circle of caring. And that's just communication. Like, how do we feel about each other? And that's the biggest thing. Yeah. Danny and Joan, which is why it's wild that they moved in together. Like, you don't even know. Why are you asking after you moved in? I need to hear it from you.
Yeah.
That should happen before you.
I'm not coming here without knowing.
Yeah, like, what are we talking about? And once again, like, I'm not moving you in if I don't love you. Like, what? All of it's weird. All of it's weird.
Okay.
Any actors from The Wire? What you think, Rachel?
Yes.
So it's technicality. Why'd you say yes? I want to see if you pick this up.
I don't know.
Well, who do you think is in The Wire?
Who do I think? I don't know, but I have yes written down. But I don't know who it is.
You probably didn't erase it from last week. Any actors in The Wire? Technically, no, but technically, yes. So there's nobody actually starring in this film who was in The Wire. Mm-hmm. However, there's a scene when they're at the movie theaters. In the movie theaters, they are watching the film No Good Deed with Taraji P. Henson.
Yes.
And Idris Elba. And you can
Yes.
hear Idris Elba's voice in the movie theater in that scene.
Uh-huh. AKA Stringer. Uh-huh.
Russell Stringer Bill. I don't care if we got to do it by technicalities. I'm giving The Wire
I
shout outs.
said, I
Shout
don't
out
know.
to, I don't know if you can see it, my Wired coffee table books and all that stuff. Shout out to The Wire, man.
Shout out
Greatest
to
show of all time.
Stringer. I don't know why I have yes then, because I don't think I realized that that was a no good deed.
You didn't. There's no way. There's no. That's
Don't.
me. That's the movie nerd in me coming out.
At
The soundtrack, we talked about Million Reasons, John Legend. Wouldn't let that happen to me. I already said it. I'm not bringing my ex back to my spot. I do not care. I don't give a fuck about what you got going on. Your safety is no longer my concern. I wish you the best. I'll pray with you, but you're not coming back to my spot. And I have no problem telling you you're not coming to my spot at all. Like that would not, but that conversation would not bother me at all. And he talking about something to put your money away. No, you paying. What we talking about? You broke my heart. You paying? I'm charging you double. Ain't no freebies, man.
What did you think of the length of this movie? Was it a little too long? Yes.
It's an hour 40, which is usually the sweet
That's
spot
it?
for me. It's only hour 40. It's a sweet spot for me. And I'm thinking, what would I cut out? Cut out 10 minutes and make it 90 minutes? Sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Nah, it's perfect for me. Perfect. Let me stop. Trivia.
Nope.
Danny and Debbie, when they're talking about the Sunday Scaries, they're sitting down watching a movie. They're watching the original About Last Night. So when they show the screen, they're watching the original 1986 About Last Night on there, giving homage. Also, there's homage when they say, "Here's to another night there at the Broadway. Here's to another night of sexual perversity in Los Angeles." I mentioned before sexual perversity in Chicago. I mentioned Michael Ealy being 40, and that's really about it for trivia. So, Rachel,
Yes.
this has been one of those Miami to Seattle flights episodes. Like we really went cross country.
For sure.
The longest 2-hour episode we've ever recorded in our life. Shout out
sure.
to us for pulling through. But
For
we
sure.
get to the end. We get to rate the film. Rachel,
Yes.
the average viewer rates About Last Night 6 out of 10. Too high, too low, just right.
So I knew it was going to be a 6 because my answer is a 6. But in the lowest, I was going to give it like 6.4. So I say it's maybe too low. Maybe 6.2. But go ahead.
7.3.
Okay.
7.3. I love this movie.
I love this movie.
Low end sevens. So I don't have too many 6s. I have to look back and think. I think the Jump in the Broom was like a 5 point something for me.
Uh-huh.
It was just right because I remember saying that there's never going to be a movie with Angela Bassett that I say is too high.
Yeah.
I gave it a just right. I think it was like 5.8. This is leaps and bounds above that for me. 7.3. Probably if I went back and like over time.
Yeah.
And look at other ratings, it might be a 6.9 or something like that. But I'm putting it at 7.3. I think that's fair for how much I enjoy it.
Okay.
You giving it a go ahead.
I'm gonna give it a rose. I'm gonna give it a half a bouquet. Like it's not worth 12 stems.
Carnations. No roses, but carnations.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you some lilies, some carnations, some baby's breath.
You wild.
What you give it?
A bouquet.
You're gonna give it a bouquet because you love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. Give it a bouquet.
This has me reevaluating my number 4 movie.
It's funny because I was going to talk to you about that on my movie, not yours.
Probably both. Okay.
All right, bet. So we'll wrap. All right, Ray. We made it through. We made it here.
We made it through.
Wi-Fi issues, charger issues, no MacBooks.
My
recording
laptop
off the phone, no microphones.
Bro.
Nigga, we made it.
We made it. I'm sorry if I'm a little loopy, guys. It's been
all good, man.
But
shout out to Romance Month.
Shout out to Romance Month. Shout out to specifically Black love, but love in any language, straight from the heart. That was a song that we did like at a Christmas program.
Shout out to White Set It Off.
Thank y'all. Y'all be cool. How y'all be cool. Peace. Oh, this is Valentine's week. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope that you spend it with somebody that you genuinely care about. Vals and gals. Peace out.
I got so much to say, but I'm not. A lot of things I can say right now that I'm not going to say. Y'all enjoy yourselves. Peace. We'll see y'all next week. We out.
We out.